Hey guys, so I have told my Tourette story in little pieces throughout a lot of videos. I want to like mush it all together and tell my Tourette syndrome story. Basically, I started having tics, not Tourette's, when I was around 15 years old. It would come like I would have tics, I would do this. And I had to crack my neck, so it was really very painful. And I couldn't stop, and it would go on all day. It would go on when I was trying to sleep. I was trying to sleep and I was still doing this. So it was very painful, and it would make this little noise because my neck would crack. And my mom would go nuts, especially if we were trying to watch a movie or something. She'd just like, "Stop it, Melissa, you have to stop." Like she was driving her up the wall. It was driving me more up the wall because it was painful, it was annoying, I was out of control. I didn't know how to stop. I couldn't stop. And I didn't know how to explain it. I didn't know how to understand it. I didn't think, hey, I must have some kind of condition. I didn't think I must have some kind of condition. I just thought that I don't know, I didn't even think it was anything. It was just me being weird. And it would leave for like maybe a year and come back, and I would have it again for several months, and if I would manage to get rid of it, and I would do this maybe once or twice, I was like, Melissa, take control, get control. If you lose control, you're gonna end up like before. But basically what that would be called, seeing as it was only movements, and it was only one movement too, it would be called transient tics. Meaning they come and they go, and they're not Tourette's, because the Tourette's you need at least 2 movements and 1 noise or word. Okay, so I ended up stopping. I was 16 or 7, no, I was 17 the last time it happened in my teens. And then it came back in full force a few years later when I was hospitalized, when I was inpatient for anorexia and self-harm. And it came back in such full force, my whole body would, my front part would go down, up, forward, and my legs would go up simultaneously. So I was going like this. As long as I was sitting or laying down, I was having tics. If I was standing up, strangely, I wouldn't have any. But that's how it started. And I didn't know it was tics. At the time, I thought it was a side effect of my medication, Seroquel. And later on, after 2 years of begging my psychiatrist and my doctor for some kind of diagnosis, like I was assuming I had tardive dyskinesia because it was from my medication, but I finally saw a neurologist in 2010 and was diagnosed with Tourette syndrome. He knew right away, big bang, you got Tourette's. And I was like, but I didn't remember making any noises, but I did actually, but I just didn't, I was so used to doing it that I didn't realize that I was making the noises. And I ended up being diagnosed with Tourette's, and I started off making noises that I did notice. I started going, and I was like, what is that? What is that? And I just like, I was walking down the street. I was taking a walk. At the time, I was always walking, and I was mortified that these sounds were coming out of my face. And I was used to the movements. And at first, when they first started at the hospital, I was like, "Psh, don't worry about it. It's the medication. You'll stop the medication. It'll go away." So I was like, Psh, I wasn't worried at all. But as time went on, it just continued and continued, and it was not going away. And when the movement started, when the noises started, I was absolutely horrified. Every time I would make some kind of a noise, I was like, or I would muffle, if I felt it coming, I would muffle it. So I was absolutely mortified. and I had to get used to being in public with my tics. And also what had started around that time was these full, like I was explaining, these full body tics that I was having. They would happen, they would last for hours, where I would be laying down and I was moving like really fast, or I would just like jump up once, jump up, jump, jump, jump. My body would fold, and or my shoulder would rise. So I was laying on the bed and my full shoulder would rise. And this ended up turning into something that looked like epileptic seizures. It looked very much like epileptic seizures or like dystonia. It looked like that. But it wasn't. It turns out to be Tourette Syndrome. And to this day, I have episodes that look like look like seizures, which is why I have this panic button. And whenever I have one, I'm home alone, and it calls either friends, and if my friends can't come, then it calls the police, and the police come and they call an ambulance. And what that does is it leaves marks on my feet because they rub on the floor. I get sores, I get scabs, I get, you know, my body, or I knock my legs against the fridge because I'm having these full body movements, and I'm knocking my knees against the fridge, so I get bruises, or you know, that kind of thing. And now I'm on medications that have all these side effects. One of them makes me sleep 14 hours a day and then end up laying down in bed for the rest of the day. One of them makes me fall to the ground. Bloop. I just fall while I'm walking or while I'm standing. So I'm just really grateful right now I'm not falling down. The last few days it's actually been a little bit better, probably because they lowered the dose. And we're trying to stop this one. And okay, so also what it's morphed into, I didn't start with words, but it turned into words. I started repeating what other people would say. I started swearing. And the last year or so, I've been making sentences. Like I might say, Peter Pan, Peter's pants. Why'd the poodle fuck the wall? Olive Garden. Narcolepsy. Hi, Grandpa. Those are tics that I make. So, anyways, that's what my Tourette's has turned into. Or I might see, like, I was at work. I tried to work for a little while. It totally bombed. I saw a cracker in the corner of the floor, and I said, "By George, it's a fucking cracker!" And that was a tic. And then I said, "Bye, George." So I waved like I was saying goodbye to George while saying bye, George. After saying bye, George, it's a fucking cracker. Sorry for the swearing, but I feel like, seeing as I'm talking about Tourette's, that it fits into the context, and that I should be able to talk about swearing, swear words, because I'm talking about Tourette's. So I'm sorry if I offend anyone, but this is what Tourette's is. So I went from no noises to words to sentences, to even like answering myself in my head. Like if I'll say, "By George, is a fucking cracker," then I respond to it, my thoughts in my head, and I'll go ahead and I'll say, "By George," because I remembered what I said, and I just kind of clicked, and then it turns into another tic. So basically that's my Tourette syndrome story. It's going really badly right now, my Tourette's, but it's better than it was, because of the medication that I'm on, and I'm seeing one of the best specialists in Tourette syndrome in Canada. Go me. So I have no idea how long this video is. I'm really sorry. I'm gonna cut it off. That was my Tourette syndrome story.